What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training. And today we're going to be breaking down a wide receiver press DB quiz. Okay, so now the thing that we're going to be doing on this, if you're not familiar with our quiz format, I'm going to show you guys 3 specific examples of a pre-snap look from a wide receiver perspective. And then we're going to talk about how you guys should be structuring your releases, the route, everything when it comes to this. So now today's focus is going to be on this DB. So the one thing I want us to think about in all these different situations is what the DB's responsibility is and how we can beat that responsibility with the specific route given. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. This is the first clip right here. So we have this DB who's walked down, looks like he's going to be in heavy press coverage, going to get physical. I want you guys to think about what the responsibility of the DB is, what he's going to be trying to do in this case, and then if you guys had to run a deep post, how would you guys run this specific route? Okay, so now you guys can go ahead and pause the video, think about what you're going to do. And now I'm going to break this thing down. And like I said, if you guys aren't familiar with the quiz style format, I'm going to give you guys a chance to pause the video, think about your answer for each specific clip that I show, and then we're going to play it and break it down. So we got this DB who's walked down. Looks like his pad level shifted forward, so we can pretty much assume his responsibility, what he's trying to do on this play, is to get hands and be physical, right? So if that's something you guys thought that, okay, based on the way he looks, it looks like he's probably going to try to get hands on me, lunge at me, jam me right off the line, and try to disrupt the timing with the quarterback. That's his goal, is to disrupt timing. So if I have to run this deep skinny post, what I want to make sure that I'm doing is I'm prepared. I have a plan for this guy who's going to lunge at me, because we know when a DB lunges at me like so, sometimes he's a little bit off balance. We want the over aggressive DB, because as a wide receiver, if you said, I want to keep a good pad level, hit him with maybe like a step back release, maybe a split release, whatever it is, and get his hands off, you would be correct. So watch how this DB plays it. It's all about, or this wide receiver plays, it's all about pad level, right? So he lunges at him, good pad level, bursts up to the top, and then again, he's just able to run this thing off. But again, that step or two of separation, if that quarterback puts it on a good ball, that's all you need, right? Especially when you're a talented guy like so, right? So we have to make sure, fellas, that anytime that we see a DB is going to be physical, I have to understand that, okay, his goal is to disrupt timing. So my main goal as a wide receiver is to keep timing. If you said to do a step back release, do all these moves back here, and then get up into the route, you would be wrong, because simply you're running a deep post. Chances are that's a first read. You got to get downfield. The quarterback does not want to hold this thing and wait for you to get downfield. So we have to get off the ball quick. So if you said maybe a quicker, like little step back release, keep a good pad level, get up into the route and get those hands, fight the hands, you would be correct. Keep it simple when you have this overly physical guy and we have to get up into a route. Maybe if you're like a backside slant route, or like maybe like a third read slant, or maybe it's like an RPO, you could do the step back and maybe give him a quick move or two, but we got to make sure that we get off the ball, fellas, when we have this physical guy. His goal is to disrupt timing. We have to keep timing. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job getting the hands off. Great job keeping a good pad level, and then bursting up on this deep post route to create some separation. Okay, now before we get into this clip from Davante Adams on the goal line, fellas, I want to talk to you about a great opportunity we are having this offseason. We are traveling out to 8 different cities across the United States for 2-day-long quarterback, wide receiver, and DB camps. Okay, so we're going to be coming out to Houston, Texas in 1 week. Then we're coming to Phoenix, Arizona, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys are local to one of those 8 cities, we would absolutely love to have you out to one of our camps. Now, I wouldn't even consider this a camp. I would consider it more like a clinic, because we are limiting spots to only 10 to 12 guys per position group. The reason for that is because we're not trying to have 50, 60 kids out there and just run you guys through the gamut and just say, oh, okay, here's a drill, you're going to do it, and then the next guy's up. We're actually going to coach you guys. We're going to stop the entire drill if you make a mistake, explain to you what the mistake is, and actually help you improve. We had a great turnout in our Tampa, Florida camp, and I feel like the kids really enjoyed it and really got better because of that coaching style. So that's what we're trying to do. So you don't have to worry about the 40, 50 kids out there. We're out there to simply help you guys improve your game. So if you're interested in one of our off-season camps, and when you're local to one of those 8 cities or would like to travel out, we would love to have you. Check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. So now we got this situation here for Davante Adams. So I want you to think about what's this DB's responsibility when he's inside shade, 1 to 2 yards off in man coverage on the goal line. Think about what he's not allowed to do, what he shouldn't do, what his responsibility is, and how wide receivers would run a slant route versus this coverage. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and pause the video. And now we're going to break this thing down. So DB's inside shade right off the bat. That's what you guys should be noticing, right? So right off the bat, he's inside shade. And right off the bat, we know he's not going to give up the inside, right? So we could pretty much get the thought out of my head. If I'm running a slant, I could just square him up and then just take off and go run the slant. Very rare that that guy will give that up. And also he's on the goal line, right? So he's not going to backpedal. He is not allowed to backpedal. So if you said those two things about the DB's responsibility, you'd be 100% correct. His job is to force you outside. And why is his job to force you outside? Because he doesn't have any safety help. That's why he's inside shade. That's his responsibility. It's to force you outside and not give up that route that crosses his face. So as a wide receiver, when I have to run a slant route, I got to make sure that I'm closing the space, maybe giving a little hesitation move. I don't have to get right on him and step on his toes, but I'm not running away from him, right? I'm closing the space and then I'm attacking to the outside. Attack where he doesn't have, well, he has help to the sideline, but we want to get to where he doesn't have help. To get to the inside, I have to attack this outside shoulder to try to get him to commit to what? Commit to the fade, right? So let's play this thing full speed. So Adams attacks him, bursts up vertical on that diamond release, gets that DB to flip his hips, and then he's able to make this play on the slant route. So that's everything about this, fellas. It's no different than when you have to run like a post route and it's inside shade off man coverage about 7 to 8. You go right at that outside shoulder, you try to get him to flip his hips, and then you go. Now, the reason why Adams on this, if you guys said, oh, you just want to go straight to the diamond release, you would be wrong about that as well. Because think about it. If you got 2 to 3 yards worth of space, you go 3 hard outside steps. Still, if you break this thing off and maybe we do get him to commit, there's too much space there. That's all that space is space for him to react and drive on the ball. So we have to attack his leverage, because when we attack his leverage, what's he going to do? He's going to keep his leverage. He does not want to give up that famous hezzy where that Adams makes that crossover and runs a slant. Whole reason he's inside shade is to protect the inside. So we have to threaten him where he doesn't have help, burst up to the outside, get him to commit to the fade. Adams does a little peek back with his eyes. That certainly helps to get this DB to jump. But if that's what you guys said, you want to close distance, attack back outside, his responsibility is protect the inside and force you outside, you would be 100% correct on that. So just make sure we understand this situation, fellas, understand why the DB's playing inside shade and how we can structure my routes to beat this specific coverage. Now, what if you had to run a route that was like outside breaking, for example? Like, let's say you had to run like a 10-yard out or maybe a goal line fade. What do you think you would do? You'd attack his leverage, get him to widen, and then you just created all this space for yourself to the outside. That's when you would attack the leverage. But when we want to attack the out, if I got to run inside breaking on inside shade press, inside shade like catch technique like so, or inside shade off man, let's attack the outside shoulder. Let's get him to flip his hips and let's slip back underneath. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Adams attacking, selling that fade, getting to flip, and then making that play underneath on that slant. All right, so now last clip, fellas, we're going to be talking about this curl route here. So how would you guys run a curl route versus this specific coverage, right? So think about what this DB's responsibility is in this press look, why he's playing this way, what's the situation they're working here, and then how would you guys structure yourself on that curl, okay? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video. And now we're going to break this thing down, right? So again, this DB is what? What kind of leverage you see? That's always number one, what you want to decide first as a wide receiver. What leverage is the DB? Is he inside shade? Is he head up? Is he outside shade? In this case, he would be outside shade, right? So if he's outside shade like so, what's his goal? His goal is to force you inside. That's where his help is. So you have to run an inside breaking route like a curl route, right? So if I have to run this inside breaking route, I don't want to just take off and run to the inside and not give him anything off the line of scrimmage, because he's going to get right into my hip. If you guys were saying that, oh, you just want to take the inside release, take what he gives you because it's outside shade, it's not what you want to do. You want to attack his leverage. Why would you want to attack his leverage? Because he's going to keep his leverage. And then guess what? That opens up more space for you to the inside and more room for you to restack or get hip to hip with this guy. So let's play at full speed. So he attacks the leverage to the outside, gives him a little hesitation, and then is able to break this thing right off and still keep spacing on the route. That's the main key. We have to keep spacing, because chances are what this play is like a curl, and then the slots may be running a flat. So if I go too far inside, I could end up running into the backer. They could end up covering both guys by just simply standing there. So I have to make sure that I get back on that vertical path, and also that helps you get this DB to flip his hips, right? But you see how he attacks him outside, keeps the DB honest, keeps his leverage to the outside, and just take what he gives you to work back upfield. So make sure, fellas, if you guys said DB's outside shade, his goal is to force you inside because he has safety help, or that's the situation he's working, you would be 100% right. You want to threaten him to where he doesn't have help in this case, get him to widen, get him to protect the outside, and that opens up that inside breaking route for you. This would be the same thing on a post route. This would be the same thing on a corner route. You'd want to take the release that he gives you. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job working him off the platform to the outside, snapping this thing off on a curl, and then making that that catch with great separation. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I always appreciate the feedback, you guys, and it's always great to hear from you. The ideas that you guys have for the channel, always keep it going. So I really, really appreciate it. And again, fellas, if you're local to one of those 8 cities that we are traveling out to this offseason, we would love to have you out to one of our off-season camps. Again, we're coming out to Houston, Phoenix, Newark, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and Los Angeles. So we would appreciate it if you guys traveled out to one of those or just came out to one of those. We'd love to help you guys' game improve. Again, in a small group fashion. Spots are going to be limited as well. So again, they're filling up quick. Our Phoenix and Newark and Houston camps are almost completely sold out. So I hope you guys could check that out. Very first link in that description below. I'll see you guys next time.